I've been a fan of Jackie Chan since I was a kid. I mean, since the really early days of Drunken Master, Fearless Hyena, Snake in the Eagle's Shadow. And even when I was living in England as a kid, I would write letters and send them to Golden Harvest saying, I used to write letters to everybody, London Weekend Television, BBC, you name it. But I always used to regularly send letters to Golden Harvest saying, hi, I do martial arts, blah, 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 I'd love to work on Jackie Chan movies. And you always get these very, very polite letters back saying, thank you for your letter, very nice of you to write, but, you know, we don't need your type right now. And I just landed a part in a movie called Knights, which was being directed by Albert Pyun. It had Chris Christopherson, Lance Henriksen, Kathy Long, the kickboxing girl, was in it. And I was actually flying out to Utah from LA to shoot Knights. And we stopped in like Salt Lake City, and I was paged over the system at Salt Lake City airport. And I'm like, who the hell's calling me here? And it turns out Golden Harvest had just called and offered me the part in City Hunter. But they actually needed me in Japan because we were shooting on a cruise liner. They needed me in Japan on a certain date so I could be on the ship when it left port. But I still had 2 weeks more to do on Knights. So from my flight from Salt Lake City to actually Utah, I was in this massive dilemma. So when I got there, I spoke to Albert Pyun and I said to him, look, you know Jackie Chan is, because he hadn't made it in the States at that time. And he says, yeah, of course I know who he is. And I said, well, I've been offered a part to play a bad guy in his movie. And he's like, damn, you got to go do that, man. It'd be a great experience. I said, yeah, I'd love to do it, but... Then I explained to him the scheduling problem. And Albert was like, well, let me see what I can do. So like a week later, he'd come back and he said, look, I've rearranged the schedule. I've had to cut maybe 1 or 2 of your scenes out of Nights. We'll shoot some of your stuff with a veil so that we can double you when you're gone if you need, but hey, you can go. So I was like, wow, Albert, you're my hero. So that's how it turned out. I actually arrived in Japan like a day or 2 late, but it worked out beneficial for me because originally the opening scene they planned for me was just walking onto the boat with Richard Norton and a couple of the other bad guys.
I'm sorry.
But because I missed that scene, I got my own opening scene. They devised this whole training scene of me in the bedroom on my own as my introductory scene in the movie, and that turned out very good for me. So yeah, it was like a dream come true for me to go do City Hunter.